Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, it's beautiful out, and I spent the better part of the day asking questions, which was what I enjoyed doing. But anybody who's a lawyer will tell you that the questions ain't very good unless you spend a lot of work deciding what facts are worth talking about. Anyhow, I enjoyed it, and I think I helped my client. The other thing is, on the way back from Winchester, where I conducted the deposition, I stopped and walked the Appalachian Trail, and not a long portion, but it was just beautiful. The colors are amazing, and there's like a dividing line between the Blue Ridge to the west and coming back into the valley where I am. I didn't do a walk and talk there because the ground is crawling with tree limbs and detritus and stones, large stones. It's beautiful, but you have to pay attention. Of course, I looked a little funny to some people strolling down the Appalachian Trail with my suit, my mask, my bow tie. It's in full regalia. And I don't know about you, but from time to time, I put on something from one of my parents. Now, my mom put together a quilt, and I put that on a rocking chair I occasionally sit in, and because her hands touched it, I feel like I'm with her. It's a long time ago, of course, but still. And then, but now, right now, I'm wearing my dad's jacket. I think he'd get a kick out of the fact that it seems to fit me about the way it fit him. It's a little worn, and I'm anxious about trying to preserve it. I don't think that would work well. So what are we talking about? Well, what I've just been talking about is the thing that motivates us. That is the life that we have, the people who've left us that we still love, the beautiful change of seasons. The colors are amazing. I mean, if I turn here slowly, look at those colors. It's just gorgeous out. And there are many people that have no use for any of this. Their life is a driven desperation. So I'm thinking of Justice Thomas right now. Justice Thomas has thrown all institutional caution to the wind. And what is it about? It's about Lindsey Graham's subpoena to have him appear in Georgia and testify why the hell was he asking questions about the election in such a, if you will, demanding way, sort of leading questions suggesting what should happen with Trump's vote in Georgia, pressuring them implicitly. One can't lose sight of who one is when one asks a question. That's another way of saying that you can abuse power in many different ways. And Graham is not above that. I met him many years ago when he came to the House Judiciary Committee, and he was going to work on the impeachment of President Clinton. And we shared a plane ride because I was on an investigation of how America, how the working class man and woman gets along. And we had a visit down in his way, and we were on the plane coming back, and we sat and talked. And he said this was like his mission. He was then a much younger man, more than 20 years, I guess. And he was so devoted, it seemed, but in a crazy way. And he's the only one that Clinton went after that he couldn't stop. So Graham has this theory that under the speech and debate clause, he can talk about anything. Well, no. He's not speaking about something and being chased for saying something that someone else claims is defamatory. He's being summoned because he did something that is arguably criminal, although the conclusion hasn't been made down in Georgia. Now, the courts, from the trial court to the 11th Circuit, have decided that it is righteous that he go and testify. But Thomas has decided not. Why? I don't think it's legal. I think he's a hack. And he and Ginny are a corrupt pair. And they don't care how things look. It's like the dictators of old. I want you to take a look again. Look at the colors here. I'm going slower so you can see it a little bit better. So, we have another example of corruption from the highest court. Now, former Associate Justice Breyer, he was one of my heroes on the court. There are others, but he was a hero because he enjoyed teaching. He spoke so well in perfect sentences that got to the heart of a question. In connection with Thomas, the thing he wrote in a couple of books he published were, why does anybody obey the Supreme Court's commands? And he says it is because they see how we handle the trust of the people in our decisions. That we make decisions based on what has gone before, as narrow as possible, as understandable as possible. Now, Thomas, he shows no evidence of that. And I mean, you could go back to the Roe v. Wade debacle and see how he's casting good law out and then suggesting, not that it be narrow, but maybe married couples, maybe all sorts of things, gay couples could be affected by that ruling. That's an evil person abusing and betraying an oath of office and the public trust. Now, I'm adopting and adapting Breyer's thinking to Thomas, but Thomas is wrong on so many levels, particularly now while his wife Ginny is so visible. What's a second thing? A second thing that has caught my attention is the Woodward audios. I think he had 20 different conversations with Trump. And I'm of two minds about this, and you may be the same way. In one sense, I think, yes, it's good that he's preserved it. I have no problem with him making money doing it. But the other side of me says, really, do we need this? Haven't we heard him enough? Could he possibly say anything in his voice that would give me any more information than what I already have to need to know that this self-appointed evil monarch should never be elected again, to borrow from members of the Congress what they say about him? Do I need to hear his voice? And I think not. I want to quiet his voice in the sense of legitimately discrediting him, not by talking about it, not by playing his voice, but by prosecuting him. Our government is a failure, and daily we hear people say exactly that. The democracy is in danger. And we the people, I've said it before, I know you may be tired of hearing me say it, we are the people are it. And the question is, can we pull off this hat trick? Meaning, taking the franchise that we were given, that cost people blood and money and torture, so that we can restore the republic rather than continue to have this uneasy coalition with the worst people in the largest number that have ever been elected to office in America, including those who are running right now. It's more than 300 election deniers. It's just not American. So we have to grab the basic values that are imprinted on most of us: thoughtful, disciplined, resolve. An entire assembly of values by which we act. And with those as our standard, we go and we vote and encourage others to vote, even as our leaders show themselves to be weak in this regard. So that's what I got today. And I'm out here in my cathedral of trees. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.